that you got it. Okay, we're going on. Whoa, this is the illusion due to the delay lag. Wait, let's see. We're clicking in for I believe it's, I hope I got the title right. It's episode 15 of the Riding the Skaterix, man. with promo code, dude, aka Jordan Richter. What's going on, my brother?
I had a hard time accepting that promo code title, but then I was going to call you one of these days. I was going to call you up and be like, Hamish, man, I can't like do the promo code title because I feel degraded. But then I learned something about myself through that title. And I'm like, you know what? I could live with it. And because I am always ready to connect people to the best deals, you know, in life.
Well,
that doesn't have to be a discount. It's like just a good deal, you know, like that's what we're doing here. We're giving people good deals.
Well, the my promo code is it's going to cost you double, dude. Like, that's the funny part about it is it's a play on it all. You got like your YouTube code name has to be something that's sort of organic, right?
Yeah.
The promo code sort of really did come in an organic.
No, I get it. I'm totally with it, dude.
Are you with it? Are you with it?
Totally
I just got to make sure we're riding.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally fine with promo code. It's all good.
Promo code, dude. Oh, you see now you've officially earned it. Oh, let me turn it. Now that you've yeah. See, if you'd resisted at all, dude, it would have. Now it can fade away. Promo code perfect, dude. Since you couldn't be any further from Ira if you tried, dude.
Like, hey, Mish, I really, really enjoy that name. I want to add a 50% in front of it, and it'll be 50% off promo code Richter. Jordan, 50% off promo code Richter. How about that?
Yeah, 50% off, dude. Let's see. Let's welcome some people here in the chat because you have two screens going, don't you? That's how you do it, huh?
Well, I don't have the other one open, but I am going to open it because I always like to look, even though I'm advised never to look at the chat. I always like to look at it.
Dude, Gunler coming in primary reporting from duty for with this popcorn. He's a bear. We got two bears in the top three. Jim 4.40, Lily, hello Lily, Harry, Jeanette, Easy Fluff, Ryan Lyon, Mace Window. We got a Jedi with us tonight, dude. Bob Kramer. What's up, dude? And Lily Hodge, an established 007, and Randall Pink, Jordan the Tribe. Hope everyone's cool, dude. Yeah, we're
very familiar handle.
Yeah, see, now you're getting used to it, dude. You're seeing who's the regulars on the stream here for the skate.
I love your people, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, they've been good people, man. The tribe is a lifesaver, dude. The tribe is a lifesaver. I got a big box of paraplegic coffee, dude.
Oh, rad. I got some dude. Too. I love that, dude, man.
Oh, dude, the hottest is he sent Owl a t-shirt with this size that's which one is it? It's pretty epic, dude. It's the it's the one.
It's reminding me. I promised I'd send them some stuff, and I totally flaked. So I'm glad
you're flaking on paraplegic bear, dude.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
he sent corrected though. I'm gonna actually.
He sent a t-shirt with that on it, right? Right. So Owl's got a t-shirt with that. So Owl's going over to I dropped him off at his buddy's house tonight, and he wanted to wear that t-shirt, and I was like, I don't know if our friends will get the joke. And he's like, well, what's the joke? And I was like trying to, because he listens overhears enough of this. And I was like, there's so many layers to it, but they're not going to get it, dude, either way. And he was like, all right. I go, they won't find any humor. People don't find this kind of stuff humorous. So I had to ward him. I wasn't ready.
What are you drinking there?
I'm drinking my juice, dude. The juice. This is cabbage, celery, carrot, ginger, apple, and orange.
Nice.
My juice.
I was gonna say that looks like some ginger in there.
I always love a little ginger in my juice. I'm trying to get geared up for a big like lifestyle change, man.
Yeah,
it's that thing we talk about a lot, is like being accountable to ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've really come to, as it's funny as the outside world is crazy as ever, it really comes down to just look inside your own house for the madness. Look inside your own house, and there's no shortage of it, right? So I'm doing a big big recalibration, man.
It's time for a reboot for sure.
Yeah, you just all of a sudden you realize things have just gotten a little off the rails. And
yeah,
the technology, this thing, dude, this device is the far out aliens. Thank you. I'll make sure Jordan gets some of that action, dude. And what does the alien have to say? I just rolled out of a 38.5 card stud game and crushed it, laying in the back of my Forerunner, burning back into the atmosphere. And you guys are what I didn't know I needed. Woohoo! All right, dude.
Wow.
All right, dude. That keeps the thing going. So
38.
So yeah, and it's one of those things was like even our thing, dude. Since we've been I've been sat down and I got the pen and the paper out and was like to just account for everything and get the new year going, dude. Because I think if I'm not wrong, when we do we are set up to be. Let me see what. We're set up to be banging right into the new year, dude. When we do the next episode, we'll be on the 2nd, dude.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm stoked, man. This has been for me, it's having this space here gives me a whole new I'm so happy I got in it before the new year, because that's exactly where my mind is at. Just been setting this space up. Being in the garage for 4 years has been crazy with 4 kids, and we have another kid on the way that's due around the first week of January. So it's just nice to have a place to come and start really being more intentful in regards to what we're doing, and that's with everything, whatever it is. Like, we have to really have an intent behind why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, man. It's really that thing. It's funny. I had we had a pretty good sermon today. One of the backup pastors was there today, right? It's interesting how God works, right? Like, so today, so I went, church. I go to church on Sundays, and so Al can go to Sunday school, and I dig it, man. We got a really good pastor. He's one of us. He's fighting the good fight and the whole thing. And so I rolled in today, and he's kind of like sort of a sort of well-known, because he's leading the fight, dude. So he's got a lot of people kind of pulling at his elbows and trying to get him to do this. And he's always flying here and there. And so today I walked in, and he's like, hey, he put out his hand because he was in the back, like, hey, how's it going? And it was funny. Like, I just instantly knew I needed to talk to him about like unburdening some stuff that's been going on, man. And I was like, hey, can I like talk to you? And he's like, yeah. And he entered it. He's got like security and stuff, because it's that gnarly. And he's like, yeah, here, my security guy, this Hamish is coming in, and after the sermon. And then I realized like I had more that I needed to talk to him about than I needed some spiritual, needed to do some real talk. So I was like, I went back to him. I go, you're leading the service today? He's like, no. And I like talked to him during the service, and it was really very, very good for me. And just to, I think for me, I realized that even though we openly communicate, like there's still just other things that like just don't translate out sometimes, right? And it was good to just talk to my pastor and like actually make him my pastor, you know, the first like real conversation. We had a great conversation, but I came out of the thing and the other pastor was deep into like about Revelation, dude. And it was pretty interesting what he was saying, dude. It got me all fired up because he was like, dude, we have to really like to occupy the land. Like we got to really like get fired up and be pumped and have no fear and like really like thrive in where we are right now.
Yeah.
I was listening to that and I was like, that is like one of the big psyops that's really been pushed on us, is just this utter chaos of it all, right? And then you realize how much it has pulled from your actual like life force in a weird way, even if you're not participating in it. We're all participating on some level. So it was a cathartic day. So you're doing an anomaly, dude.
Oh yeah, man, I got this desk so I can stand now.
Wow.
My back was just getting thrashed. So I had to get the adjustable desk for sure.
You got an adjustable desk?
Yeah.
How is that?
I know. It's cool. It was a little pricey, but it was worth it.
Did you get a deal on it?
I did. I went to a nation warehouse. I got a
promo code. Scored a deal.
Hey, deal. You're talking to promo code. Of course, I got a deal. I mean, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
What's a purchase without a promo deal? You know what I mean? Or a promo code.
Yeah. Well, the code was cash, but CASH.
It's actually credit. Yeah.
Credit, dude. We love that, dude. We keep the news.
No APR for 12 months. That's how they get you.
That's my favorite game, dude. You tell me there's no interest for 12 months, I'm in, dude.
That's where this table came from.
That's fine. That's the old payment plan. It's like layaway inverted. You get it before you start the layaway plan.
Yeah, it's $50 here, $50 there. You're done.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy like that, dude. So what's on your mind?
Well, we think about like the obstacles, things that are holding us back, because in each and every one of us, we have something that's really hanging us up, and I think towards the end of the year, at least it's been my habit to take stock of myself and to really see, the wins and the losses, so to say, of the year, and what I need to do to really make changes for the better. And I think that's a healthy exercise, especially towards the end of the year, to really think about what's going on and how can I self-assess and start picking out some real things that need to get worked on, And some of the things that keep like this, two things is from my teacher that stand out a lot is dealing with fear and grief, fear of the future and grief of the past. And it's interesting because that's exactly what God said to Adam when he sent him to this earth after he was casted out because of his mistake. He said, okay, sometime you'll be on earth for a time. And if you follow my commandments while you're on earth, then no fear will come on you, nor will you grieve. And the grief and fear is really, I think, our biggest obstacles. And this my teacher tells me is that fear and grief keep a person from really becoming of like tapping into their true potential, And so I'm just thinking about that, like things that I grieve about. I've caught myself a lot, like just being conscious of like who I'm blaming. Like I'm blaming people for my own, I could blame, the elite all day, or I could say, this thing, and, these people are doing, and there's things going on, obviously, but just learning how to be more cognizant of how I accept things, not just blame people, but accept it as coming from God, as a test. And
Yeah.
and then the fear part is, fear of the future, of like what's coming down the pipe, and we're our lack of trust in God makes us fearful of things. And so it's a acceptance of the past and a trust that God will help us in the future, is really the sort of the recipe. So I'm just trying to be more cognizant of that. Dealing with my kid, my 12-year-old, and seeing the transformation into teenage years is pretty hectic, and just trying to manage that and be there for him. And that having another kid soon is another, that's another, at 47, it's like you're having another baby. It's a lot, so just, you got to be on your P's and Q's, man. Got to have things in order and your day planned out, and you got to know what you're doing in order to thrive, especially with what's coming.
It's funny on that. And then I was listening to, when you talk about like fear and grief, right? It's what exact, like to actually pinpoint what they are. It's like, fear is such a like masculinized concept, right? Like, oh, it's like punching some dude, and I'm not afraid to get socked in the head or drop into that or paddle out here or battle and this stuff. And I remember when I was first getting sober, I was at some meeting and it was about, fear, standard AA stuff, right? Fear and this. And I was like, I'm not afraid, like, that's my problem. Like, cause I was never afraid of the police. I wasn't afraid of any of that. I used to be really like out there. Like, that was my safety, was being super bold with what I was doing. So I never was afraid. And then I was in this room and I remember these dudes chuckling at me like, fear, right? Like, yeah, you don't even know what fear is, dude. And I always remember that because I didn't know what fear was. And to move like the ball here, I'm going to be, God willing, 13 years sober here in a couple days. And it's funny, like what is fear? Because I don't fear like the man, and I don't fear the system. I don't fear death. I don't fear a lot of things. And then I go, well, what is it? It's fear. And then I realized like the struggle I've had with Owl lately, right? Gets real into fear, like, fear of, blowing it with raising this being that I'm a steward of, right? Like this being that I'm responsible to like that I'm shepherding into the future. And like, you go, oh, like, what have I done? So, and then, just like these very much deeper fears that are almost like can get so blown over by like society as a whole, like, dinner table issues, right? Like real family, like not watching TV issues, dude, like real family stuff. And like, and it all just like, it's been a tricky couple weeks around the homestead in that sense of like dealing with real issues, man, like real life issues, dude. Like not like that we owe money issues, like real issues, you know what I mean? And you just, you realize what fear is. And it is definitely about God and connectivity to God. And
the fear is, that's the thing, is that I don't think we really have a control over real fear. I think that the fearlessness comes from something that God puts in us, it puts in our heart, makes us either fearless or fearful, based on the actions we're taking. There's a lot of people, they get like really depressed, and they get, especially nowadays, a lot of people I know, they reach out to me, or they'll tell me, or I have friends of mine all the time, they'll talk about how depressed they are. which is a different type of fear. But and I'm like, I know that a lot of the fear or a lot of the depression that people feel is because of the things that they're actually doing in their life. You know, like if you're watching porn and you're doing self-destructive things and you're abusing people and you're doing, you know, you're going to feel disconnected from God and you're going to feel depressed and fearful. So I think like I'm just reminding myself as well that it's a simple remedy for fear to go away is just to be more dutiful.
Well, I mean, I even mean like my wife was in a kind of a gnarly car wreck on Tuesday, right? Like one of those, like I got a call from a stranger. Like then I don't normally pick up the phones, but it was like, yeah, my wife was flying in at the time and the stranger was calling from Burbank, where the airport was, right? So I answered. And it was literally like one of those phone calls you don't want. Like, hey, is your wife's been in a gnarly car wreck and she asked me to call you, and you're just like, oh, you're like, whoa, dude.
This is
like this week at Tuesday. And
your wife.
Yeah.
Oh man, is she okay?
Yeah, she's okay, a little banged up, but like you get this thing and you're taking a drive, right? I got Owl with me. We're in the car, like we don't really know what we're getting into. And it's rush hour. So it's like, no, we're not only like in that kind of mode, but we're going 5 miles an hour in LA 101 bumper to bumper traffic into where we don't go, right? To go retrieve our person. And we don't know anything. What's going on. And so you're on this way, and it's like, that's what I mean about like fear, like this other level of like, just how fragile it all really is. Like fear of like, that's what I mean. It's like fear of my own sort of idiocracy is almost pretty easy, but it's like fear of like how fleeting it all is, right? And what a brief moment in time you have to get it right. That's sort of like even dealing with Al and like where he's at, it's like, oh, I can't reverse the clock. Like, oh, how do I? And these things you can't go backwards, right? Like even like it's happening in real time, and you're like, whoa. It's real interesting. Like on the weird thing, I'll tell you what though, Jordan, like that's actually like where I do my best work though. I don't, that stuff doesn't bum me out or freak me out, or like it actually, like I know.
Yeah. I'm similar to that. I think fear, it's crazy because the best skating I've ever done, like ironically, I think many people, and this is not a brag or whatever, it's just a funny fact that I learned most of my tricks in contests, like things that I invented or learned in a contest, because of the fear of like, as soon as they announce your name, then for me, it was always things. I never bailed in a contest. I either really slammed or I made everything. I never like bailed off my board. But it's weird like that. It was always like that fear of like, I don't know, whatever that was, it makes you perform better in a way. But that I taken into everything in life, the pressure, I guess. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's I was listening to some Michael Tessarian. You ever listen to Michael Tessarian? Michael Tessarian's a pretty interesting guy, dude. He's like a deep studier of this whole thing. And he was getting interviewed and the guy was asking about, the time we're in and, the system we're up against and the thing. And Tessarian was like, well, we were, I talk about a lot, is shadow work. You got to deal with your shadows, right? And he's like, the system, it was very interesting, was this, he's like, the system's basic mechanism is to convince you to fear them and not do your own shadow work. And the minute you stop kind of fearing your own shadows. They don't have any control like mechanism in anymore, where you don't even need to like fight them, like, or battle them. They're just, it's ultimately like another way to explain what having a relationship with God is, right? Like, you can't have a relationship with God and have a bunch of shadows going on, because like that's what God's supposed to, you're supposed to give that to God, right? Like, and it's, you know, like, I think that's why, you know, we even started all this, is we realize that like there's a dividing line with people that live in the existence of God, yet may still be hanging on to their shadows in spite of God's willingness to take them away, so that you can be fearless about at least that angle of it all. Right? Like, you know, you were talking about, like, you know, your struggle with your community up there, like lining up and getting in board and buying into the indoctrination, and like how people can be promoting these things in spite of God, which says we should be way out of it, you know? It's,
yeah, you know, to that point, what boggles my mind, not just in my community, but just in general, is like the lack of discernment of like being able to like look back and see, especially for those people who believe in God, basically the ones who are lying to you are complete and total atheists. Like the whole entire apparatus is a godless system. And for people to be so trustful of a system that's so godless and so without righteousness, it's just proved itself to be treasonous over and over and over again, literally infinitely. And people still run back to it, like the abused woman who runs back to the husband who keeps beating her, hoping for a different result. And it's sad, but yeah, I mean, that's why like Jesus and Moses and all these prophets, when they came, they were not they were very soft with the people. They were very loving and they were very forgiving. They were just looking at the person's hereafter and what happens when they die, and how does this human being live a life that's pleasing to God so that they don't get punished in the hereafter. That was their main concern. And it's like, I don't know, I look at my life and just see myself how I can become more and more of a better role model for my family and for the people in my community. And like, that's like an example, like what you're trying to do and what we're trying to do here and wherever we are, not just on this video thing, but anywhere. It's a hard deal, man, because that's like people are getting tricked by a very atheistic system, and they need people to demonstrate righteousness, you know.
It's funny when you say that, like I think one of the things that I've always asserted is, and just on the atheist thing, is like, I've always figured that the people closest to God were the atheists, right? In order to be so like not believe in God, you ultimately have to believe in God to not believe in God, right? Like the agnostics seem to be the fence sitters, right? And I trip, even when you said it clicked to my head, is the people running the system are 100% aware of God, though. Like they've convinced everybody that they don't believe in God, right?
Yeah, they believe in God, but their God is a different
well, I think it's that thing, they're trying to kill God, right? I think they actually believe that they can attend omnipresence through technology, right? Like I think they truly believe that algorithmically or in the code of the matrix, they can circumvent God and recreate it all.
You know, it's what did the Pharaoh say? And the Pharaoh declared himself to be God to Moses. You know, he said, I'm your Lord Most High. And it was really because of his wealth. He had so much power and wealth that he believed that because of his power and wealth that he was God or a God because of the power and wealth that he wielded. But in reality, he got taken out in the end, obviously, because of that arrogance. But he declared himself to be a god. And I'm sure many of these guys, the Bill Gateses of the world and the whoever it is, I looked up an interesting thing about Fauci is that Fauci actually, after the name Fauci on Wikipedia, it has his full name, and then after it says the word Omri, which is arguably an Italian, it's like an Italian coat of arms, like Legion, kind of like a Freemason or Masonic or Jesuit thing, but it also means king. And I was running my thoughts. I was like, and I'll be selective on how I choose my words here because I don't want to get you pinged. But it's like this guy who's always been able to like do these things for so many years, for decades, is actually on Wikipedia. If you see his name, it actually is followed by the word king. So Anthony blah blah Fauci king. And I was like, that's interesting. So, there's, I'm just saying, a lot of these people, they do think that they're sort of gods or kings or in whatever is occupying them. Now that we're getting a little esoteric, I think that there's definitely things occupying their bodies that are from.
Oh, well, no, I'm with you on that. I think David Icke kind of runs the best program with the interdimensional vampires, and they control the people from they're dimensionally here, like that I think that like I
don't call them reptiles. This is Jin.
No, it's not even his reptile thing. It's more about like his whole base, how like in the labs, right? There's those things where they stick their hands in the gloves and control the test tubes, right? But they're not actually in the little thing with the toxic stuff, right? And his thing is basically, dimensionally speaking, all these people are sort of controlled like that, and they feed off of this sort of low frequency energy. And that's why there's all this sort of ritualistic sacrifice and all this stuff, why they're hell-bent on, the children and all of these dates and cosmology and all this various stuff, because that's what they feed on. But we can't, because we can't see them, right? But you get a glimpse of them every now and then for the people that are tuned in. But that we're so busy trying to look past it almost in a weird cognitive dissonant way that we don't really understand how fantastically gnarly it could be. Tessarian was going on about this today, is like about the one of the follies of it all is that people that think that looking into the darkness is to be negative, when he's like, the most negative thing you can do is pretend there is no darkness going on. And that's where, but you can't dwell there either, which is, I think, for like why we do this and why we talk a lot, is like we delve into what the darkness is to figure out, to make sure that we're safe in the light, right? Like we're watchmen, we're explorers, you don't want to marvel at the satanic work either. You want to acknowledge the work of Satan and that it's there, and understand that it's, that he's attacking you, but you don't want to sit there and go, wow, that's dude, I'm like 2266, 9/11, 9/11, whoa. Yeah, I don't try to, like that weird thing, but on another level, like when you see it, it's so obvious. It's like the amazing Orange Man, right? Like he's fully like revealed to many people that like who he's working for in the last week. Yeah. Like it's funny to see like the shock of people that are still trying to defend it and be like, but wait. And it's like, no, dude, this is all the same team. I've had a theory on the Orange Man for a long time that the TV, I told you before, the guy who invented the TV died the same day the Orange Man was born. Yeah. Okay. And I really do believe that there's a big segment of like dedicated special ops and special intelligence that has elected the Trump family as the protagonist of what's going on in present day. And he's the recurring theme throughout many of the Hollywood movies and the
Jung's hero's journey is really referring to a Trumpian sort of character or avatar. It's like a very like hard to articulate, but Trump is very much like was built. I mean, his whole entire persona was built in Hollywood. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's the funny interpretation of it's even like the message that came out of the White House about you're all going to get sick and die kind of thing. And people were like shocked. And I go, that's finally that's been their Christmas message for my entire life, from what I can tell. Just, they always just try to pretty it up and be like, oh, dude. And it's like all the people that like when something bad happens, like, and be like, our prayers are with you and this and that. Like, yeah, well, your prayers should have been with us before that happened, dude. But because we were busy not praying, these things happen. It's a very interesting code we're working with right now, because it's all becoming very like more and more obvious as the days progress. Where I almost don't even think that it has any validity anymore. Like as I know it doesn't on the entertainment level, as the addictive narrative quality being pumped in by electromagnetic frequencies, it's super valid. Like the crack pipe of it all is like, but like practically speaking, I don't interface with it on that sort of level. It's very interesting. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm getting at. It's just so obvious now that I've realized that, okay, going back to your thing about the new year, right? Is to really like be like, I gotta like clean up my own toxic input trail.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, like I have to get out of my own addiction to the addiction to addictions, man.
Wow,
bro. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's tough.
I get you.
It's tough because there's no way to avoid it, really. But I've even come like full circle about some things that I was pretty like set on, like even a month ago, like even like the evac out of like to the higher ground. Like I was like, I don't even know if that's relevant, man, like on a certain level anymore.
I don't know, man. It seems to me, I don't even know, man, because there's the Richie from Boston sort of squirt about, FEMA camps, Alex Jones, and then there's like this other, and I don't actually feel that at all anymore. But there's the other thing of like just the slow burn, like the slow sort of like people have been in the past 2 years. I would say a large majority of the population has been already converted to scientism or to whatever atheism or
they're in the metaverse, dude.
Yeah, they've been converted to the Metasquirt and I think that because that is already taking place, you don't need to force anyone anywhere. People will happily go now wherever you need them to go, because they're freaking wearing a mask while they're swimming. I mean, so in the ocean. So, I mean, you don't have to like do much anymore. So that's where I'm like, it really is what you said earlier. It's really about sort of making our own house, getting our own house in order, our own environment, our own wealth, or whatever you want to, even it's that's the crazy thing, is that even our own wealth and blah, blah, blah is still within the same system that is, doing this to these people over here and doing the same in a different way to us over here. But, there's a thing of, I guess, getting your own from the land as much as possible and not relying upon the system, I guess, or being plugged into it so much. It does start out with getting off the screen, I believe.
Oh yeah.
There, more.
Or it's just so this human life is so complex and it's so simple at the same time. Like I really like the simplest, as even the pastor was talking about today, like the simplest, and even Tessarian was basically is just to rejoice in your freedom of your salvation. Like there it is, game over, solved, riddle solved, go about your life, rejoice, and you're saved. And then you get into the like the broad spectrum of it all, and you're like, oh my, like, am I doing right by my children? Like this and that. And then you go, okay, like I'm gonna let this go. And then you kind of look over there and you're like, have I not stewarded what I was supposed to steward? And that's where I get into like the fear. I'm not afraid of like the machismo world of it all. Like I'm not afraid of their mechanisms or their machinery or their freaking weirdo. I just get into my own fear of not paying attention to the proper thing that will get seeds into the future that will be product of neglect, right? Like judge a tree by its fruits, right? Like, and you realize how important that seed state is, and that nurturing of the seed in the soil and the whole thing. And you go, buck stops with me on that, man. Like if I don't tend to it, I can't be like, oh, well, God's got it covered. God's like, dude, you need to tend to your.
I mean, God calls us vicegerents. You know, we're referred to as his stewards on this earth.
Yeah.
You know, especially, you know, men and women, but men especially men need to, you know, be protectors over women in that regard. And really, which is funny, which is another topic, but women have become more vocal about what's going on nowadays than most men.
Well, I think that's a product of. It was funny. I was talking to I told you, I was talking to my pastor today in his office for a bit, and I was showing him the letter we got sent to the governor and the whole thing, and he was like, what does your wife think about this? And I look at him, I go, she's stoked I'm a man, dude. Like, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And he's like, you get it. Like that's not like, and this is the thing, is like, that's the state of like our reality is like, we're not taking, that's where I guess we're like, and I don't want to get into everything because I think it disempowers on a certain level, but like for me is the balance of, there's not a lot of mirrors out there. That's why it was cool to talk to my pastor today about it. Like he got it and be like, there's not a lot of dudes out there like burning bright, burning hot in the name of God and freedom and liberty and family, dude. There's just seems like I watched the neighbor come out today with this child playing the cul-de-sac with the remote. Dude put a mask on his face. Owl was like, dude, what is he doing? I got Owl in the backseat commentating like, what's he doing, dude? There's nobody here. Why is he putting a mask on? Owl was like, I think
people, they do believe that if anyone happens to come out of the house, that when they breathe, that the red spiky ball is going to fly out of their mouth and jump into their body and infect them, and they got 14 days after that infection to live, and they're going to have to submit to the ventilator. That's literally what people believe. They're going to. But the good thing about it is that the sauce prevents a bad, it prevents you from dying in the hospital, which is really good. Which always, I love that one. That's cool.
I don't know. I was talking to someone about it, or on a stream about it. It's like or maybe I was even talking with Owl about it. It was the funny thing about the paraplegic bear t-shirt. I was like, people have lost their sense of humor. And I was like, I was trying to explain to him what that meant. Right. And I was like, there was a time before you were born where you could make fun of everything and anything. Like you could, like, everything could have, that was how it all got de-armed. And then you look at you really look at how they did this number on comedy. I'll give Big Bear credit on that thing, as the war on comedy seems to have been like the first battleground of this thing that happened like 6 years ago, where like once they nutted comedy, because I'm a very sarcastic person, right? I grew up with British humor, like a Monty Python, Fawlty Towers, John Cleese, all that stuff. I'm a very sarcastic sense of humor kind of guy, like a little bit of the pockets, like you're saying is. And my natural thing is to make fun of all of it. Like that's it, like the tiger mask, the whole thing. And the humor's been taken out of it all. Where like, even you making funny, it's like serious now. So I was at my big bulk store Chinese military base, you know, the one. So I was in the big Chinese military base, and it's the only place that like I put the tiger mask on, because I have to, because we make the contract at the door with the memberships and the whole thing, right? So I'm in the thing, I'm doing my deal.
Checkpoint.
Yeah. No, it's not that. It's a private club, dude. Like, I acknowledge the rules of the road.
You get a Chinese mask, just like, you know, like a Chinaman.
That's why I wear the tiger, man. Like.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Chinese tiger. Yeah, that works out. Oh yeah.
The tiger penis, tiger penis makes you strong like bull, dude. But so I'm sitting in there, and there's like a barbecue salesman guy, right? And he's like makes a joke, like he's like, right? I mean, he did something, and he thought it was a joke. He's like, oh, that's a funny, like I get it's a funny joke, and I go, the problem with it is I'm going deadly serious, dude. And he looked at me, and it turned out he was from Indiana. He was just repping these barbecues for the thing. I go, I'm deadly serious. He's like, and he saw where I was. He still looked in my eyes and saw where I was coming from. He's like, oh, I get it. I go, you know, man, I go, and he's like, yeah, the sheeple and the whole thing going on here. I go, yeah, that's why I wear it. It's like, I ain't playing, dude. This all started as like, this is my joke about it. But like, between you and me, like, I ain't fucking around, dude. Like on any level, like, this ain't funny. Even though, like, that's what I mean, is like, as much as a sarcastic, humor bred contrarian I am, like, I don't even know how you bounce through the ping to back to the comedy of it all. Like, I don't know if there is any comedy left in it. I mean, there is, like, we joke about it, but the struggle of it all is just to make it a joke, dude. That's how we're gonna win it, dude. Is sarcasm and he, not sarcasm,
that's
but
what they call it, the Comedy Intelligence Agency, the CIA. You know, they seem to be very. They seem to be coming out with some good content, some good jokes.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing's such a joke. I just don't feel
There's some weird juvenile, like, I think there's some weird juvenile, like, satanic comedy that's extremely juvenile, but at the same time, ironically, really relevant. Like something like, who was the lady after the George Floyd thing? What was her name? Waynell Sexton. It was George Floyd's 6th grade teacher.
Oh, yeah, the comedy's in all the names.
Anal.
It's like Janet Woodcock.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. There's this like very poignant, very relevant. It's like it's the best joke ever.
Well, it's like the message. It's like the message from the White House, right?
Huh?
The message from the White House.
That's what I mean. It's like it's perfect with perfect timing. It could only come from an artificial intelligence quantum computer.
Well, it's so for like my sickness, right? When I saw the message from the White House, like I laughed in a way I haven't laughed in a while. And I was like, it's because it was so dark, dark, dude. And I kind of looked at myself for a minute, and I was like it wouldn't be so funny if it wasn't so serious. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like that's.
Well, it was a declaration of. To me, it was a declaration of war.
Oh, for sure.
From their side, it was like the declaration should have been made 18 months ago from them, but they just chose to make it as, you know, a typical revelation of the method. They made their declaration after the fact. But that was the, in hindsight, you know, what you gathered from there.
Well, that's why I've been yelling at the Patriots now for a year plus, is like you guys missed your window, dude. Was like, if you didn't get that was the thing from Jump Street, like you missed it. Like it's like that, you know, and
unfortunately.
Yeah. So it's that weird thing where, like, as a believer in the black flag method of war, like that's why I think there's a certain level where I get pretty serious about it all, because I don't want any of this to come down the pipes. I am like those Civil War generals that were sitting before it happened. When you kind of go read up on like Stonewall Jackson and these guys, it's like they were all in communication before the Civil War broke out, going, look, dude, these people are crazy, dude. We don't want this, but if we're going to do it, black flag all the way, baby. And let's get it over with as quick as possible. And
I think the next thing, I'm curious I thought about this before the stream, and I'm wondering what you think about it, but I've thought about this for about 2 years now, or about 18 months or so, that the real end game is going to be, they're going to find out, and I'm calling it right now because I saw a Forbes article actually come out.
Do we get the red book out? Red book.
No red book. But this is interesting. This is no, I'm not going to give you what did we try to do last time with the
no, we don't do anagrams anymore.
That was a big anagram fail. Sorry, guys. No, we're going to do, what they're going to do is they're going to say that the paper money has been made a certain way that the virus stays on it for 28 days. Forbes article came out already stating this. So that's the next thing, is that all these different variants, obviously Delta and Omicron, both connected to the Rothschild Islands in Antarctica and the Rothschild money. So that was the telltale to me, that they're going to come out and say the Delta and the Omicron on the paper money, Delta and Omicron paper money have to be done away with, because it's just, that's where we found it spreading like wildfires, because of the exchange of cash.
I got keep talking. Don't talk about that for a second. I got to get my charger. I don't want to run out of power.
Okay, go ahead. But yeah, what do you guys think? It always feels weird to not have him there. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Patrick, my cashless. One thing Alice Jones did say was it funny about the full hijab was a beekeeper's most admit. It was a good one.
Well, that's what I think the whole gig, of course, is it's for all the suckers who bought into crypto. Like, they're the actual like harbingers of it all. But I trip. I don't, I'm, as much as I battled to like not convert out of cash, like I hardly use it anymore. Like, yeah. I don't use cash much. Like, I don't even think I have any cash in my wallet, dude, which is crazy.
I was looking for it too. I don't have it either. But it's well, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, is like, what is it? I watched Dune the other day. Have you seen Dune? I never watched it.
No, everyone's been hyping it up.
So I was in a hotel, me and my wife, we want to watch a movie, we'll watch Dune. And I never watch movies, but it's a pretty cool movie. And I think yeah, it's like the Rothschild family is kind of what it's alluding to.
Well, it's that weird thing, right? Like, I think that's almost like that's the one thing like that I've been pretty tripping on. Like I ain't afraid of any of that stuff. Like, I'm not worried about the dumb piece of paper, barcodes, the currency stuff. I never really, I was watching like some footage coming out of New York the other day. And I was like, maybe I should have been concerned about the passports and stuff. And I go, still not. I don't even, it has no relevance to me. I don't really care.
Because look what's interesting, because all the places that are like, you're not allowed, at least as of now, all the places where you need the squirt port or the vax port, you have to be, are like clubs, don't want to go there. Football games, don't care. Restaurants, I'd rather eat at home and make my own food. Malls, I mean, well, not malls technically. I mean, stores, not really yet. I mean, I walk into stores still, for the most part. The Instacart today for first time in a while, but it's all like places that I don't want to go anyways, and really where it's all like popular culture stuff. Like all the popular culture convergence of people is all related to the Vaxport, except, flying somewhere. That's like something that my friend actually just went to Afghanistan to distribute food for the needy there. And they brought a bunch of money and gave some food and clothes away. But when they flew, the other guy didn't have the sauce. One of them did, the other one didn't. And he said he had to fly. He tried to get into Pakistan. They wouldn't let him. Then they flew to Tajikistan. They wouldn't let him in there. And then they from Tajikistan, they drove a car to somewhere like, or Uzbekistan or something. And then from there, they crossed the border. It's just crazy. Like, it's like Muslim countries where you need the injection, but it's so,
well, like, it's on this thing, what trips me out, like, and I've been following this Instagram page for a while now, this Eye on Palestine thing. And I tell you what, man, is that like, we were talking, I think we were talking about it in a stream of like 6 weeks ago or something, is it's been going on in Palestine for a long time, man. And we as a world have sat back on this thing. Totally. And I've been watching some of this land grab stuff that's coming out of there. Like, it's horrifying. The subtle nature of it all, of just walking in and moving people out of their houses. And like, to me, that's why, like, this is all going on, is because energetically and all that stuff, we've sat back as a world and allowed Palestine to happen. And that's not me being anti the state of Israel guy either. Like, that's the divide and conquer thing. It's like, hey, you're not, no. I'm talking about this brutal, weird thing that goes on over there, where people are humiliated and to cross these checkpoints and the whole thing. And you go, everybody's concerned about their right to eat pizza or something. Like, that's what you need to fear. No. I look at what goes on in Palestine, and I go, that's got nothing to do with the sauce, passports. That has something to do with state control of people, and we sit back and put, not you and me, we, or this tribe, or we, I mean the world, we sits back and puts our hope and strength in some of these people that sit back and allow that abomination to occur and are funded, and we let these people. That's again where I do go a little bit loony lefty on this thing. Like I personally, for me, I speak for me right now, solo by myself. The more and more I look and see what's going on in Palestine, because I've just decided to be a witness. I don't like this. I do not like this Instagram page. It horrifies me. It freaks me out. I don't know if it's biased. I don't know what it is, but it seems pretty legit. Like, there's this dude who's been on a hunger strike now for ever, dude, about this stuff, dude. 132 days, this guy's been starving himself. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe. But what I do know is I have sat back as a human being, educated, knowing about what may or may not be going on in Palestine my entire adult life. And I haven't done anything about it. And I don't mean like go and be like rah, rah, rah about it, but I mean my personal consciousness. I've been able to just look away and be like, whatever, it's over there. It's 2000. They've been doing this for, what's the big propaganda? They've been doing this over there for thousands of years.
And they've been fighting them. They have been fighting over there for at least 2,000 years. It's a 60-year-old thing. It's not even, it's 50, 60 years old. It's not even.
But it's tied into Austria and the
70
funny
years
little,
old,
but it's tied into this thing now. It's like the circular loop of the whole thing.
They used to say that Palestinians used to say before the Balfour Declaration was signed, they said, we used to bring our children, Palestinian Muslim families used to leave their children with the same in Germany, the same in other countries where the Christians or the Jews and the Muslims were all living harmoniously together. But it wasn't until that Balfour Declaration was signed, until Polish, European, Austrian, and other Ashkenazi types came to Israel, where all this stuff started to go south. But that's a whole other conversation.
But no, but it's not even to get into there. I find it just very interesting as you have a lot of Robert Kennedy was talking about this on Jimmy Dore the other day, right? And he said this, which was again that just triggers me because I do try to keep a broader lens on my world or realm I live in, let's say. And he said, he was like, what's different about now is even during all that stuff that was going on, World War II and Germany, all these things, is like, you could still make a move and get out of there and get to say higher ground somewhere. You could still jump a fence, jump a train, risk your life, whatever it was, and get to somewhere else, dude. Another part of the planet, you could make a move. You had the potential to escape. And he's like, that door is closed. There's nowhere to go.
You want to know something really sick, and I gotta be careful the way that I say this, but the sickest part of this is that very easily because there's no international condemnation anymore because everyone is so preoccupied with COVID. So they could really do whatever they want, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't. Why do they choose not to just exterminate everyone? And I'll tell you why. Is because it's always been that they keep. Well, a part of it is definitely God's mercy and plan. The other part of it is that these people are sadists.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And they are keeping them alive because in their ideology, they feel that, they're going to call upon actively their Messiah. And the way they do that is by doing what they're doing. A part of that is to doing what they're doing to the Palestinians, because there's a thing there that in the unseen and esoteric realm, it has some relevancy. So that is part of it all, is that it's being, they're being tortured to cull or to weld power. And that,
that's what I mean, is like when you dig into this stuff, or even be a witness to it, let's say, you realize that it doesn't make any logical sense. It is the abuse of the thing, right? And again, that gets me back to, that doesn't alarm me. It's again, it circles back to my own personal space, right? Like, again, it's like, what is that is humanity, right? Like this is the battle of the human condition. And, some of the people that don't operate in the God, like our particular paths towards God's, even like pockets will say, like, maybe we don't get out of this realm. Maybe this is the final battle line of like what it is as human beings, because we are all, there's no excuses anymore, right? There's no, we struggled with the thing because we were started with the skateboarding stuff, right? There's no excuses to be a modern person in our modern societies and turn a blind eye to any of this, right?
Absolutely. No, that's the biggest letdown of our, that's why I said it's 18 years or 18 months ago, 19 months ago, all of whatever heroes I had, quote unquote, and the heroes kind of die after you're 40 anyways, but I had some people that I looked up to. All of those guys died in my eyes. I don't have any, and it's a good thing because I don't want them anyways, but we need to give our attention to those who are worth it. Someone was asking, what's maybe you, if it's okay, they were asking, can you get, I'd like to hear Hamish and Jordan's thought on the social engineering of Don't Look Up.
What's Don't Look Up?
I don't know. Someone was at Ryan Lyon is asking, I'd like to hear Ham's and Jordan's thought on the social engineering of the phrase "Don't look up." I never knew that was a thing.
I mean, they don't want you to look up, right? Because you would that's don't look at the sky clock, right? It's that. I mean, if it's on that baseline of, I don't know if it's a movement, but or some weird thing, but like, yeah, we've been totally conditioned to look down, right? Look at our phones, stay in our houses.
Yeah. Okay, in that context, I mean, I think it's there's also something to be said about confidence and being a fully erect, pardon the pun there, being a fully upright person.
Well, I think I like on that level, I think it would bump into a couple of things, right? One of them would have to do with God's sky clock, right? The sky clock and the stars and the whole cosmos, if you will, because there's something infinitely timeless in there, right? The infinite nature of whatever it is
of God, for sure.
Whatever it's looking into, like a deeper aspect of God, for sure. But I also think there's an aspect where I've been trying to say is like when I walk forward into the world now with my eyes forward, my shoulders up, and 100% confident in my love and forgiveness of my fellow humanity, no one messes with me. It's only when there's that weird sort of, when you bend a little bit, I think they translate that as to subservience and they come for you, dude. And you can't do that. Like, I think that that the conditioning not to look up, for sure. Like, so we've been socially engineered to look at the ground. I agree with that. I think that's it. Like, you gotta, that don't make eye contact, right? I think there's so many levels to what is going on that then again, that goes back to our first thing we were talking about, like, what is fear? Like, what is the fear? Because we're all in a state of some sort of fear. And for many of us, it's easy to go them and they and the machine and the apparatus and Palestine and the New World Order and the or
okay, he said it's sorry to cut you off, but I never saw the movie either, Ryan, so I wouldn't know, but I was just looking it up. It's actually a movie he was asking for the maybe
you're asking the wrong dude.
Yeah, sorry.
You're asking the wrong dude here, bro.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I was trying to be helpful and answer, but sorry, bro. I'm not really a movie watcher.
I did watch, dude. I did watch that movie Pig the other day. Phenomenal.
I'm gonna check Don't Look Up now. It seems interesting.
No, don't waste your time on that. Go watch Pig.
I'm gonna watch that then.
No, Pig with Nicolas Cage, dude. P-I-G. Dude, it's next level rad, dude. Because it's so subtle. It is so subtle, and you just no spoilers here. Don't anyone spoil it for Jordan. Go watch it. it's one of those movies where you're like, oh wow, that's next level, dude, because it's about something so valid in the human experience right now. And I think that it's the time capsule for it all.
It's interesting because both of those were released in the same year, 2021. Also, Don't Look Up was released in the same year. These are interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no, and the only reason I went and checked out Pig was Pockets of the Future mentioned it and said it was a masterpiece. And I was like, let me go see what this dude is all about. Let's see what this guy's calling a masterpiece. Right. Because I do that. Like, that's why I'm very cautious about recommending stuff. Right. Yeah. Because and the whole thing is like that gives you a lens in on people. Right. Like, so I was like, all right, let me go see this is a touchstone into Paul's mind. Like, he's recommending this movie, calling it a masterpiece. Let me go check it out. And I was like, all right, masterpiece.
I did see Shutter Island about 2 weeks ago. That was the
older one. Was that
with DiCaprio?
Yeah. As a dude who used to be
interesting.
I've drawn such a weird thing about like the Hollywood thing. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, they're all lame, but I, as far as the story of it all, I think.
No, but I used to be a huge movie guy, dude. Yeah. And it's funny, like, I really drew the line right before all this went down about it. Like, no, like, we're not doing it. Well, I'll tell you, the last movie I saw before the shit hit the fan was what? We went to the movie theater. No. The Joker.
Okay.
Well, me and my wife went and saw that at the movie theater. It's the last movie theater we'll probably ever be in, dude. Unless we make our own.
Could be. Well, we're making one right now.
Oh, it's okay. Ryan Lyon, it's something on Netflix, dude. You can't support Netflix. Their child. I pulled my plug on Netflix with the Cuties thing, right? Wasn't that Netflix?
Scumbags.
Well, you gave the whole breakdown that dude's Edward Bernays' kid, right, or grandkid.
Edward Bernays' great nephew.
Yeah. Propaganda. So I got 5 minutes, Jordan, and
I got a jam too soon, man. Let's wind it down. Always a pleasure, brother.
I mean, on this, it's like, it's good to talk about it, because whatever it is, like, I do feel like it's a relief to just sit and babble with someone else, and not like, I like coming with no agenda like we did today.
Yeah.
And it goes where it is. It got a little dark there for a minute, like, gets a little light, gets a little bright, man. So as we come into the new year, maybe we do this for each other. Like, as you have a new child, you have life going on, new business opportunity, new workspace. What's your dream for this year, man? Like, Jordan's dream for this year.
I would say that I just want to be consistent, follow through, with all the things that I plan. I want to see them all through, whatever those are, because there's a lot of things that we have to do every day. And I don't want to leave things undone. I've had that habit for a long time where I'll start things and not complete them, or have an idea about something and not finish it, or start it and finish it, or I'll start something and then jump ship. They call pulling the pin, or jumping ship. So I think whatever we start this year, we complete it, we see it through. I think that's a powerful message to send to our kids. Our kids can see us follow through on whatever we start.
That's interesting. That's pretty much in line with where I've been at. Is for me, it's a different kind of it's to get into a consistent rhythm. Like, I've been lacking like rhythmic consistency, which leads to chaos elsewhere. Like for me, my big goal is to change my awakened pattern. Like when I awake and when I go to sleep, dude, like I'm totally on the wrong side of it. Like I need to be up before the sun versus up after the sun, right? Like I think for me, like that's the thing I want to be. And it's the same thing you're talking about, is being consistent I want to be consistent in my lifestyle, to be consistent in my product, my end product, if you will. Like,
absolutely.
I really can't, I've struggled to be super like consistent, get things done. And I go, well, why is that? And I go, it's because I'm not in the rhythm of the clock, like a caveman. Like
that's how my
your time is up. Perfect. All right. So come on New Year's Eve night. I'm doing a New Year's special. Everyone's coming on. I'll send you a link. And we're gonna do like starting like 8 o'clock, and just have people. I'm gonna send the link out to everyone who's been on the channel, and if they want to show, they show. If not, we're just chime in whenever you want.
Sounds good.
And God bless you, brother. I'm super stoked to love you.
You too.
Fired up to talk to you tonight, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it always.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to see the new baby, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'll let you know when she pops out. We're grappling with the name. Either her name will be Iman or Sophia.
I like Sophia, man. It's a good name.
So Sophia is what we're inclined to. So, yeah, Sophia. Anyway,
awesome. All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks for hanging.